Okay, so thank you for being here. This is the Strength Seminar Reflections in a First Year Seminar Course at an Open Access College. My name's Dr. Katie Roberts. I'm director at Wisconsin Technical College System. I cover 3 career clusters in the system in the Office of Instruction. We're recording this session and there will be Q&A at the end, but the presenters are also open to questions throughout. Also, please feel free to use the chat to add your questions. To turn the captions on for this session, click the 3 dots at the top of the meeting, click on language and speech, and then turn on live captions. There's also directions in the chat for that. Resources and recordings will be available ideally on the WTCS Faculty Summit site within the next week, and you will also receive an email to indicate as such. So as we get started, let's take a moment to look at the community agreements. So we want to engage, listen actively, and be in the room. We want to be curious, ask questions, be very curious, and balance, take space, and make space. And I am going to stop sharing my screen. We're excited to host this second WTCS Faculty Summit. Many of you are taking your time out and busy work and family time to be here, and we thank you for that. And we want to make the most of your time during this session. So again, please share your questions in the chat. At the end of the session, we'll be putting a link for an exit ticket, and we'd really appreciate you giving feedback. And if you happen to go into another session after this, and there's a little bit of lag time, that's a perfect time to fill out the feedback from your previous session. And we're encouraging you to share one action step within that feedback that will help us to know your trajectory from what you learned today. Now I'm turning everything over to our speakers, and thank you for hanging in there, speakers.
Hello, everyone. We're excited to be here today from Western Technical College in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're talking about our first year seminar, strength seminar that we've created. We're hopeful that you have some great questions. We'll save those for the end. This course is designed to support our first year students and set them up for success and hope for program completion in the end. I'm Pam Arneson, and I'm here with my 2 colleagues today.
Hi, I'm Steph Gauger.
And I'm Michelle Blum.
We are all K-12. We all have K-12 backgrounds, and we are academic support specialists in learner support and transition. And we were talking the other day, combined, I think we've been at Western 55 years in higher ed. So we're excited to be here, and we love what we do, and we're excited to share it with you. Okay. Here we are. All right. Our strength seminar is a 1-credit pass-fail onboarding course that runs for 7 weeks. And as I said, it supports our first year students addressing skill gaps with just-in-time supports. The course helps students navigate college, if you will. We are an open access college environment here at Western, and we try hard to eliminate student barriers overall. There's a heavy emphasis on encouraging metacognition through our course with reflection and helping students develop a stronger self-regulation. The course promotes peer relationship building and fosters deeper learning and self-advocacy skills. Our main goal, of course, is student completion and increased retention overall. Okay. And this course evolved from our career pathways guided work, entailing mapping out more structured academic paths with common advising and career planning. We have had a college success course at Western for some time and redesigned it during the pandemic. Primarily, we have strong programs in the jail system, our healthcare programs, and in our transfer general studies courses, associate of arts, associate of science programs. Policy changes really at the college really spurred the need for our first year support course due to open enrollment, our discontinuation of our development coursework, and our a college-wide initiative to improve college retention overall. In addition, the college was changing to 7-week course redesign. And so we could foresee students probably entering college with academic skill deficiencies for that reason. Okay. This course is designed primarily for 30 different program areas at this time, and it's embedded within 5 different divisions at Western. Presently, we have 19 academic support instructors, like myself, facilitating the strength seminars across the college and multimodal formats, online, face-to-face, and hybrid. Each strength seminar has common cohort and with common advisors for additional support. This faculty play a key role in contextualizing learning when they can. And these seminars really foster peer-to-peer and peer-to-support relationships while cultivating really a sense of community in the different program areas. Students are better able to offer students needing help and connecting them to the various levels of just-in-time support. And each seminar, of course, includes a strengths-based component in which students all take an assessment to help identify their natural talents and strengths.
The course, yep. So our course, all the sections that are offered of the strength seminar are based on the same 5 competencies. And so when we were creating this, knowing kind of how the college success courses were done, in addition to faculty feedback, what we knew were going to be really important to students as we switched to 7-week courses, those conversations really kind of helped us form the 5 competencies. So I'm just going to briefly go through those, kind of starting from left to right here. So exploring career goals and opportunities. So this is one of the areas we have the opportunity to contextualize a little bit more based on the programs, but there is a career and professionalism and goal setting piece within all the sections. So in our general studies, in our transfer sections, that's a little bit more of the exploration piece. In our sections that are ready within a program that might be looking more specific at the career goals, the professionalism, opportunities, connecting with our career services. The developed digital literacy skills, this is usually like week 1, right? We know that our software, many of our pieces like learning Blackboard, these things that are crucial and foundational to student success, we really stress those in week 1. And that's all around that digital literacy, those technology pieces that students have to have in place to even access their course, submit their assignments, those kind of pieces. Develop habits of mind to be a successful learner. These are the academic skills. This is where we're talking about time management. We're talking about study strategies. We're talking about textbook reading. We're talking about test taking, note taking, all of those pieces that will help students as a learner. Develop sense of community, belonging, and wellness is another one of our competencies, and Pam kind of alluded to that. There's very much a piece of this where we are connecting the students to each other in their cohorts and to the college, that sense of a belonging that we know is really important. Wellness is also part of this competency, and so that is stressed. I would say, especially in maybe more like healthcare programs, our human services programs, programs where we know wellness in its holistic sense is really important. And not that it's not important elsewhere, but I would say that's a component that is stressed in a contextualized version in some of the sections. And then lastly, develop systems literacy and navigation skills. And that's just understanding Western and how, there's a how to navigate college piece, but also how to navigate Western and what are the resources at Western? How do you connect to them? Just navigating Western is within that piece. And I think I'm turning it over to Steph now.
Hello. You're probably wondering, I'm Steph. You're probably wondering why the heck we're calling this strength seminar. Well, I will answer that for you. The strength seminar, the name for it, we kind of pondered it for some time, but it really originated from if you've ever heard of the Gallup Strengths Cliff Finder assessment. So all of the faculty and pretty much everyone that gets hired at Western, we all have taken I can't say all, but many of us have taken that assessment, and we have our strengths, which is your top 5, and you get a report. So some of you may be familiar with that. Well, we gained so much from that as an institution that the Western as a whole received a grant, and now every student at Western takes that assessment through this strength seminar. So that is one of the requirements. So we have free codes from this grant. And I think like one of the assessments is like around $20 or something around there. But we have it all set up in our courses where every student has that strengths assessment. The college president and the admin, we all have fully embraced this Gallup Strengths Assessment, and it's all waived. So it's all part of the tuition. And I am a strengths coach. I did some additional training, and there's several of our career services faculty that are also strengths coaches throughout the college. So that has been really nice to really get an understanding of, what those assessments mean, what the strengths actually mean. And so many of our students, especially, coming from all sorts of different backgrounds. I used to work in the jail, and we have, I used to teach a similar course to this in the jail, but many of our students come with such a deficit-minded mindset. Sometimes college isn't for them. Maybe high school, they come with barriers, and so when they're onboarded with this strength seminar course right away, and we're able to connect with our students, and then they can take that assessment, it's really has been an aha moment for many of our students, and life-changing actually, that, when they see their results, they're neutral results. I mean, you can either use it in the strengths in a positive way, or you can technically use it in more of a a hindering way, I guess you could say it. But to understand, and that self-awareness has really been instrumental for our students. And that's one of the big takeaways. Pam, you want to switch the slide, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So essentially, going back to what Michelle and Pam had already alluded to, the 5 competencies. So in our 7-week strength seminar session, I typically administer that strengths assessment in week 2 right away, and then I scaffold their results based upon those 5 competencies, and we interweave them through connecting that to those 5 competencies. Like, how can you leverage those strengths or not leverage when you're noticing yourself, getting stressed and stuff? Like, how can you take your strengths and leverage them into the more of the positive way to bring out the best student, best present person in mind, body, and spirit, so you can be successful in college and hopeful that there's a means to an end. So we do that through reflection, personal goal setting, and then various group activities. And I teach it both online and face-to-face. And so it kind of looks a little different for both of those modalities. But yeah, it's really a lot of reflection and personal goal setting each one of those weeks. So I hope that kind of explains the strengths and why it's called Strength Seminar.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about that reflection piece. So we designed the Strength Seminar with kind of a try it and reflect on it format. That's the kind of the words we are using, in that we want students to try different activities, be open to different things, but then reflect on it. And this is purposeful. We know that students who practice metacognition, right, that thinking about my thinking, are more successful in academics, more successful learners. And reflection is very much a piece of that metacognition. If any of you had the opportunity to attend Wednesday night session on metacognition, there was even, she gave you some additional pieces to that. This is a great tie-in to the reflection work that she was doing in terms of participation and engagement. But we know this metacognition piece is huge. Getting students to think about what's working for me, what's not working for me, what are some things I could try to help this gap or to improve on this? Are there strategies that maybe would fine tune my learning? One of our what we call success abilities which is one of those things that we want students to gain in addition to their content knowledge, is increasing self-awareness, right? And there's very much a reflection piece to that. So a lot of what we focus on is, who are you as a learner? Learning about yourself as a learner. Everybody has things that work best for them as a learner, and we want students to connect with that. So a lot of the reflection pieces are both formative and summative assessments as we go through the competencies. We also know that reflection and metacognition improves student experience and motivation, right? They're learning about themselves. That helps develop that resiliency, that forward momentum to keep learning and connecting to the content. And just a quick tidbit on that reflection piece also, we've also found that it helps with some of those AI concerns, because from the very beginning, we're having students write about themselves in their voice. And then it becomes really easy to identify when they've tried to use AI. So just as a side note to that. In terms of the contextualization piece, just talking a little bit more of what does that look like? When we were designing these courses, we took a lot of feedback from faculty. There is still a lot of ongoing collaboration that happens with faculty, especially in the sections that are contextualized with specific courses and programs. So there are specific content and assignments that align with what is going on in the program, align with how the program is delivered, topics, goal setting. This, I could give you many examples, but so for example, in our health sciences version of the course, we know that those students are also taking A&P as a course. So things like the note taking and the flashcards and the study strategies and the test taking, very much integrated with those things and the content that's happening in A&P. The digital literacy skills also are contextualized. So in our IT programs, in our digital media, some of our other integrated tech programs, they're talking about, they're using some of that same unique software, getting introduced to that. Even things like the lockdown browser testing, where we incorporate that in so students know how to navigate that.
Could I just
And
jump in, Michelle, quick?
yeah,
For like Pam and I, we both teach the undecided students. So they're the AA and the AS students. So they don't, many of them are kind of coming out of high school and they don't really know what they want to do. They're undecided, but they know they want to transfer to a four-year college. So like our contextualization would be like connecting them to a transfer advisor, doing research on what college, what's the next step for college. Or even if you don't necessarily know what you want to do for a career, let's hook you up with You Get Connected or Handshake, and maybe start doing some volunteering and connecting you, purposefully to connect with like, to kind of get to understand more about where you're going those next steps. So that's kind of, I just wanted to throw that in there as to how we do that in with undecided students.
yeah,
Sorry,
thanks,
go
Steph.
ahead.
No.
Yep.
And then I think lastly, career and professionalism skills that are also integrated. Even like so far in our early education programs, they develop a portfolio as part of that program, but the portfolio is even started in Strength Seminar. Like there's a piece of it as part of that portfolio that they will leave with. That is started right away in Strength Seminar. In like my public safety sections, for example, in paramedic, we talk a lot about professionalism, a lot about communication, and within the field, right? So hitting on some of those career specific pieces as far as professionalism, which I use the professionalism skill list that program gives me, right? So it's the paramedic professionalism skills that they get checked off on when they go to clinical. Like I'm incorporating that in my strength seminar when we talk about career and professional skills. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to collaborate with those faculty, and they are wonderful, and we are so thankful for that. But then we get to use, really integrate, and students can then see us as a partner, because a piece of this is not only within the 7 weeks we have them, but we are also their support person moving forward, right? So that we're really trying to connect with them right from the beginning. And so when we are done with this course, it's not we'll see you later, right? They still see us, we're still their person until completion of their program. Pam, yep. So, and I'm gonna let Pam, nope, this is me, never mind. And so what that is what we call our PALS program. So PALS stands for Personalized Applied Learning Strategies. So really Strength Seminar becomes almost a triage, in that we are connecting with students who might need more just-in-time academic support as they move forward. And for those students, we have what's called a PALS program, and it's a leveled approach based on the student need. It may just be, a one-time, can we check in every so often? I need to set up a new calendar for the new term, or I'm struggling with this new particular class and how to study for it, to also a much more intensive weekly meetings with students who might need more one-on-one support. So it's a leveled approach that we have. We're meeting with students on the coursework they have in the courses that they're in. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Within that PALS work, these are the 9 areas of support we offer, right? So some of these you can see kind of overlap with our competencies, but this is an additional because these are the pieces we see within courses. So there might be a math piece, there might be a language literacy, writing, communicating, speaking, like in speech, oral, interpersonal communication, like where we're supporting those courses. It might be more informational literacy, like research, social emotional learning. But we continue the support with students who need it or students who are referred to us. And these are the 9 areas. This ties into our adult ed curriculum. This is what we then work on one-on-one with students.
Yeah,
And yep.
And I think one of the reasons why this strength seminar has been so successful so far, I think, is because of our communication system. It's essential here at Western in supporting our students. We have a shared reporting system in which we are able to note and track academic support for them, and like what to, as Michelle said, like what type of support and to what level, what degree, as well as early alerts and faculty referrals. Steph and I are part of a team that from the academic support intervention team, we oversee dashboards in which we reach out to students. We monitor the dashboards, reach out to students if we can help them ourselves. If not, we put them in contact with those supports across the college. Our Learning Commons has science and writing centers and math centers, et cetera. So it's monitored heavily by our academic faculty, and it's been key to our success in this program.
There's a couple of questions in the chat. Should we stop and maybe address them?
Sure.
So, Makia, I'm not sure if you all covered this. My son is a student in architecture and is in need of a mentor. Yeah, so that's exactly, we have tutors, we can get them in connection with, like the mentors would be kind of like that pal, that we were talking about. Pam and I, serve as, and Michelle, all of our, the 19 instructors that we, in learner support and transition that do this work, we're also like that mentor or a pal. So yeah, that would be
We also have
that is
Steph, about 50 peer tutors.
oh yeah, that's peer
Yep.
tutors too is a different, yep, that's different. Did that answer your question, Makia? Okay, well, just let us know. Darcy says, how long do you work with the student? When you connect with the student and meet with them, are you done or do you continue until the semester is complete and they improve on the course? Well, first of all, we don't really do semesters anymore. We're now in 7-week sessions. So it's really quick, and we've been in 7-week sessions now for about a year. Well, we're almost a year and a half now. So it's been a transition for the students. So the students are only taking 2 classes at a time, and then they take their next 2 classes in the next 7 weeks. So they're still taking a full load in a semester, but it's only 2 classes at a time. So sometimes that question, that varies depending on, sometimes it's a matter of just getting them connected with the next person. Sometimes that PALS program, stretches out into weeks and you follow that student until they're really comfortable. So it all depends on the individual student. Does that help, Darcy?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Darcy.
Oh, that was me, I think. Go ahead, Steph.
Okay, well, Makia just said kind of, I was talking about in the field. Okay, so you're talking about like job shadows in the field. Michelle, can you speak to that? You probably, I work more in the transfer. I know we used to have like job shadowing and like, but could you speak to that, Michelle?
Yeah, we do have somebody who coordinates job shadows, but in that particular situation, I would loop in the program chair, who probably has more connections to people in the field and like especially like the employers that are connected with like on the advisory board, but also career services may also have connections, employers that they know they're working with. Within all of our programs at Western, there's a community-based piece. So every program at Western has to have a community-based partnership that the students do something with, and that looks different by program. But those program chairs, career services that work with those employers, those clinical partners, those community partners, I would refer to them. And yeah, I'll just reiterate, in terms of when we talk about working with students, that very much varies based on student need, and we respond to that. So there's students you see every session, and there's students who, yeah, they just need a couple times. They might have had a life thing happen that kind of bumped them back. They need some help getting caught up. And once they do, they're good to go. So it varies. Actually, Pam, can you go back to that last slide, please?
Sure.
Okay, Steph, this is you.
So takeaways. So now I'm fast forwarding to the week 7 in my course. And going back to that reflection and goal setting, we've interwoven that throughout each week. So by the end, we have our students kind of give us some main takeaways. And Pam and I have been teaching this course starting in the pandemic. And it's evolved now to what is now the Evolve Strength Seminar, but it used to be like a combination of a college success and a career development course. But we've really, in that last week, gathered over the years takeaways that our students really gained. And so our perspective as instructors of teaching this course for several years, is really that peer connection. Those students really loved, especially in the face-to-face format. That connection is huge. So many of them are coming with not a lot of connection, and getting them into that cohort because they're all kind of taking the same classes together. And so we always encourage our students, hey, get that buddy in each class and get that cell phone number and have that study person and make those connections. Say hey on campus. These students are craving that. So that strength seminar is like the nature of it, that rapport building is just invaluable. Next, the college and community connection. So we mentioned Western, connecting to Western community, but I always try to connect them to lacrosse and the communities just as a whole, and like how they can reach out and network and make do cool things like hike and bike and all that kind of stuff outside of just Western, how to connect there. So those connections, college and in the local community. We also have UWL and Viterbo right here. So the students, there's a lot of rich college, vibes going on here in La Crosse. So the students can really, they enjoy that connection through the strength seminar as well. Gosh, what's happening next? Sometimes these students, they just really don't know. They know they want to go to college, but they don't really know why they're there sometimes. And they end up really kind of liking technical college and Western. And I encourage a lot of my students like, hey, you may just want to stay here at Western. Let's look at some programs and let's look at some jobs. Do you need your 4-year degree? Or can you find a job and make the same amount of money just staying right here at Western? So like kind of solidifying some of that, especially with some of our students that don't necessarily have their first generation college students, they don't have that mom, that dad, that mentor that's like helping them. They don't have anybody else in their family going to college. So like this is their first like step into that. So just kind of like talking real to them and helping them kind of feel more comfortable with the process is it's not so scary, and they can do this, and having them believe that they can do this and persist through and finish. The digital tools, I mean, that's invaluable. Blackboard, we have a new learning management system. Most of our students are coming from either no digital literacy or Google Classroom. So like we just introducing them to Microsoft 365, Blackboard, how to file manage, how to even send an email with an attachment, how to access files on 365, all of that sort of thing is all done in the strength seminar. And that's been super valuable takeaways for our students too. Like I never even knew what 365 was, or like how to do Word. And you'd be surprised. You think that like our students are coming with all these techie skills, and really a lot of them don't have some of those things that they're going to use in the professional world. So that's been a huge takeaway. Obviously time management and study strategies, especially in a 7-week course, how to manage your time. Most of our students are working full-time, parents, I mean, with a homeless, I mean, all sorts of things. So coming with those, taking that holistic approach with the students and really helping them to see themselves succeed is really, really helpful just by basic time management and organization. And then finally, that strengths assessment is like, I mean, if you could probably read most of the end of the course reflections, it's like, gosh, that strengths assessment was huge for me. I feel like a different person because I kind of know this about myself now. And we teach them how to speak to those strengths, like in an interview, and like, you know, like just understanding yourself more is just going to make you a way cooler person to be around. Right. And so, yeah, that's really the main takeaways that I have seen over the years. Pam, you want to add any of that?
I do, because so many of us teach on the online format. So building that sense of community where students feel connected to one another and they can learn from each other. Like we use a Padlet, and it's been just a wonderful tool, and students really like, oh, so-and-so is kind of struggling with the same type of thing. Oh, and they can reach out and support one another, which is really nice also. And then our celebrations.
Yeah, I'll just add, students appreciate hearing from other students too. So even, I don't always get to incorporate Padlet, but even discussion boards, right? Where you can have students, you know, I throw out things like, how are you studying for tests? You know, what have you found to be the most helpful resource? What, you know, where I get them talking about the strategies they're using, when I'm teaching in those online formats, and they really appreciate that. They want to hear from their peers about what's working from them or what they're trying. There's a lot of, you know, students that are using cool apps and resources beyond AI, that, you know, other students appreciate hearing about, you know, that they don't know about. So, celebration. So Strength Seminar was implemented in our 2024 academic year. So don't have years of data, but from our fall 2024, our fall 1 session, we had an initial pass rate of 80%. There are incompletes that are offered for students who need an extension. And so when we adjust for that, so that initial pass rate is like on the day we're submitting grades, but there are some students who do get an extension for various reasons, like an emergency that happened. When we adjust for kind of those final, when that incomplete is finished, it's a 91% success rate. This particular year, our fall 1 data, we're on track with that 80% also. We don't have the adjusted pass rate yet because they get until the end of the term for that. But we are, you know, showing about an 80% success rate. I would add, you know, just so many anecdotal stories from students that we could share too, because we get, you know, a whole range. You get the traditional, like high school to college student, 18-year-old, really doesn't know what college looks like, but you also get a lot of returning students and adult students and students who have been in a different career, lived a different life, and now they're coming back to school. And they really appreciate this because they recognize it's been a long time since they've been in the classroom.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Pretty much in the first week, I tell all my students, I literally say this. I say, it's virtually impossible to fail this strength seminar course unless you complete completely ghost me. So it kind of like helps. It kind of, like I'm not going to let you fail this because there's really no way. Pretty much, yeah, ghost me and then you'll fail it. But we offer incompletes. And so the purpose is not to fail these students in this course. This is like to build them up and to like be a partner with them and help them to believe that they can do college. So that's really the message that I try to give my students. So
I love that, Steph. And on that note, I've had many students returning after 10, 15 years, and they're like amazed Western has so many resources. They just can't believe the support that we wrap around them. And they're just really, really impressed, whether they're coming face to face or more so online. Many of them are working full-time jobs, as you know, and they're taking classes in addition. So it's pretty exciting.
That
And to wrap it
brings
up.
us to the end. Yeah. So we'll open it up for questions. I have my contact information on here. We just didn't want to throw all 3 names, so I can delegate from there. But there is my contact information, but we want to open it up to questions, and we'd also, if any of you are at a tech college that has a first year seminar and you know that experience, we'd love to hear just what other people are doing too.
any questions? Throw them at us.
Is this a mandatory class or is it an option?
Mandatory.
Great question. Yeah, so it is required for all students. With that said, students can get credit for prior learning. So there are some exceptions that allow students to not have to take the class. Like, so if students come in with a bachelor's degree, like they've already done college, they do not have to take, or if they've taken a first year seminar at a different college, they can submit that transcript to our CPL coordinator. We look and make sure that, the competencies, it has to be an 80% match. And then that student will get that exemption from the course. So there are students who get exempted from the course, but it is a graduation requirement.
If they get CPL for the course, do they still have the opportunity to do the strengths test?
Oh, good question. Do they, Michelle? Yeah.
They do, but they'd
Thanks.
have to go through career services. That's a great question. It
Yeah,
actually has come
yeah.
up this week. That's how because that's asked, where career services also, even before strength seminars started, they had this tool for students that would come in and be like, I don't know what I want to do. So we can still refer, and we do, especially within those program cohorts. We still try and connect with students who are exempted, and we encourage them, like, here's the things we talk about in strength seminar. So if there's something here that you want to know more of, just because you're not in strength seminar doesn't mean we can't, meet with you and share some of this information.
Okay, there's a question, Michelle. Is the course on all program plans or an institutional requirement above and beyond program credits? Can the students use financial aid for the course if it is not in their program?
It is part of their
Thanks,
course
Brenda, for the
map.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So yes, it is part of their program plan. And so yes, they are able to use financial aid. And I know Peggy,
If it's
our
on their program.
AED,
Can they use
Yeah.
it if it's not on their program? But it's in every program, isn't it?
it's in every program.
Yeah.
With that said, something like an EMT certification, that is not, or nursing assistant, those 6-week like certification classes, they do not have to take strength seminar.
Yeah, never mind. I had a thought, but good questions.
else?
Thank you.
Any other questions for our presenters? We still have a couple minutes. Well, I would like to thank them for the resilience with our tech issue at the outset. Thank you so much for for jumping right back in and being the professionals that you are. Slides will be shared. We will have materials out within the week, not just the slides, but also the recording, because this was recorded, as you recall. Please do remember to fill out the feedback if you're going into another session and you're just sitting there. What a great time to do the feedback. And please join me in thanking our presenters for a wonderful presentation. Thanks so much.
Thank you all for
ladies.
being here. Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you,
We
everybody.
appreciate you. Enjoy the sun.